Tonight, starting the show is a mystery for us.
All right, guys. Hey, welcome to the show. Welcome to Puzzle Talk, the puzzle caching podcast, brought to you by the Geocache Talk Network. I am Pathfinder 33. This is my illustrious co-host right here, Tom Brotherman, aka Electric Water Boy, and we'd like to thank y'all for tuning in. It has been a month since our last show, and we missed you all dearly. And whatnot. We've had a lot go on here in the past month, and we'll try and get y'all caught up on some of that. But real quick, we're going to jump into some news. Okay, so Cache Odyssey is well underway. We have well over 3,000 favorite points earned on all 50 of the letterbox hybrids across the nation. If you have not found one of these, I highly suggest you go to cacheodyssey.com. Look up which one is the closest to you. There's one in every state. And so some of these are crazy, like super crazy. Some of these have almost, I think the one that was right there outside of Woodstock in West Virginia has almost 500 or maybe just over 500 favorite points now when I was looking at it, which is a crazy, insane amount. There are several of these that have been close to large events or have had an event or two events hosted at the site of the of where the letterbox is that have well over 100 favorite points, and then a good majority of them are approaching the 75 to 100 point favorite point range. So these are good regular or large size letterbox hybrids. They can be any difficulty, but they're all terrain ones. So that is one thing that we want to highlight about this series, is that it is a accessible geotour, and it's broken into 6 geotours. So they're broke up regionally, but all of the geocaches are handy cacher accessible. So if you are geocaching with a handy cacher, or you know somebody, then this geotour is going to be right up their alley, or portions of it they're in. All of these caches that I have done, I've completed one of the regions. And Tom, have you completed a region yet?
No, and I didn't get the one by Woodstock, and I was at Woodstock.
Man, it was right there in town.
I got busy with other stuff. We were having fun, but I suspect we'll be in that area again because that's a cool part of the country.
Yeah.
We did get, I got Delaware. That one was really cool. The one in Delaware is cool. And then you and I both got a couple days apart, one in Hawaii.
That's right. And so the caches are out there. Give them a look, see if there's something that you that may fancy you or your needs. Even if you're not a handy cacher or you don't know a handy cacher, then these geocaches are still in their own right outside of that. The vast majority of them that I have found so far have been spectacular geocaches. So mark them on your calendars. If you're going to be traveling around and in the area of one of these, it is worth a stop, especially for some of these that are out there that are large containers. I know that large containers are always a challenge cache. There's a challenge for some of that stuff. And for these that are large containers and letterbox hybrids, and some of these are the only large letterbox hybrid in the state, in whatever state they're in. I know that mine in Nevada is the only large letterbox hybrid that was in the state of Nevada at the time that it got published. So, you know, and so there you go. So, and we've all ran into, at least I have and Tom has, Scooby Loves Pooh. We run into him and his beautiful wife at events down there in Texas, and always good to see her. And, you know, and so for her, this is right up her alley for their family. And so we appreciate, you know, we appreciate the fact that we can include everybody in a project this size. So get out there and find some Cache Odyssey caches. Let's see.
Off your head, do you know where the one in Oklahoma or Kansas is at?
The one in Oklahoma is in Oklahoma City.
Okay, good.
Do not know where the one in Kansas is off the top of my head. I know the one that's in Missouri is in Kansas City, Missouri. So the Missouri side of Kansas City. And that is if you get a chance, if you're in the Kansas City, Missouri area, that is one to go look for. I've talked to him about that and how he pulled that off to get his geocache placed where it's placed. Try not to spoil it, but yeah, that one, he knocked that one out of the park for where it's located. So if you're in that neck of the woods,
Woodstock next year is in Hutchinson. That's not that far a drive.
It is not. So, all right, we got some new souvenirs coming up, and just so everybody is aware, CITO Season 2 this year has started. It started yesterday, and so it's open now through like the middle of November, something like that. So in order to earn that souvenir, you need to attend a CITO event, a Katao, a CITO, however you want to pronounce it.
Kata.
The Kato, the Katu, the September equinox is coming up. So that one you need to find any geocache Adventure Lab stage or attend an event. September 19th through the 22nd. World Postcard Day is coming up at the end of the month. That's September 28th to October 4th. In order to earn that souvenir, you need to attend an event, any event. And then I know that this is kind of out there, but GIF 2025 is right around the corner. And so make your plans now. If you are planning on hosting an event, make sure that you follow the guidelines that they have for being an official GIF event. Make sure that you submit all of your stuff there to headquarters so it gets put on the list of official events, and make sure that you do it far enough in advance that you as the host can get the file from HQ and downloaded, and that your reviewer has plenty of time to publish said event. I'm in the works right now of hosting an event here in my neck of the woods and whatnot. So I have hosted a GIF event every year, and this year I hope to make it another one, being that I hope that my reviewer will publish it. All right. And so I have not put out any recent geocaches, but I do have 25 challenge caches that I'm working on putting out as a small little geo art for the 25 years of geocaching and the 25th anniversary. And so I've got 25 challenge caches in the works. But Tom, my man, you have been a little busy bee. What have you got put out there?
Well, I put out Irresistible Eskimos, which if you went to Cache Fest or you watched the show, you know how to solve. And then I did the Universal City Grand Prix, Which, same thing. If you went to Cache Fest or you watched the show recently, you know how to solve. And then I put out a Tower of Babel cache, which got that idea. You put that bug in my head, and I just decided I had to do one. That was a little bit of work to get it right, but
Well, and we'll talk about that. I think we may do a show on building some puzzles and getting some of that. And I think we'll talk about that then, because you went through some trials and tribulations to make that thing all work. And so for others who may want to put one out like that, I think that you may have some good insight for a show that talks about that. So yeah, so we'll do that. So if you're interested in looking at Tom's puzzles and solving them from near or far, his Irresistible Eskimos GC code is GCBBG6V as in Victor. And then his Universal City Grand Prix is GCBBGBG. And then his Tower of Babel is GCBBG. Is that a 9? A 9 and a G. So,
and all these are in the show notes.
Yep, they're in the show notes and whatnot. So we'll get that. So on to tonight's show. Wait, before we do that, anything else, Tom?
I got an FTF tonight.
An FTF?
On a puzzle that was put out by somebody who is hiding in the chat room right now.
I did see them in the chat room and whatnot. So always nice to have
Ravenclaw
local cachers show up to the show. And whatnot. I've got a couple of regulars that I've got one that's an audio listener, and he listens to the show the next morning. But I've got a couple of others that tune in live when they remember about it. So,
hey, see, I gotta let you know that was a tough verse to find. Not the actual find, just getting
the puzzle part. Yeah.
Well, the puzzle part, no, but that too. But just getting there, because she knows whereabouts I live. It's only 15 miles up there, but 35 is shut off at 46 because of a major wreck, so she'll know where I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I had to get creative on how to get to that, to GZ. Got home no problem, but I got it solved not too long before the show, and it's like, ooh, do I have time or not?
Yeah, squeaking it in.
Charles can wing it. He knows what he's doing.
That I'll at least get us started. So, all right, I want to say thanks to everybody who's tuned in and commenting. Judy, Kendall, Dave from down there in H-Town, Lori. We appreciate y'all being here. Scooby Loves Pooh, Nicole. Thanks to everyone for tuning in. I see Tim Terrell is in here at Buzz82. Thanks for tuning in and jumping in the chat room and keeping it lively. We appreciate y'all. And we hope to have we hope y'all didn't just fly in for a touch and go and you're out. But if you did, hey, come back and look at some of these. Tom and I are going to do a series of shows, planes, trains, and automobiles. And we're going to throw boats in there too. So any type of watercraft, but this tonight's show's not just aeroplanes, but it is a good start for them. So we're going to jump into the first cache of the night. Let me grab the GC code and throw it in the chat so that everybody, I guess let me hang on. Let me just give you the whole link so that people in the chat room can follow along live with us. So there's the GC code for our audio listeners. This is GC2 FAT2. That's FAT2. That's my life right now. But this one is Just Plain Crazy Military Edition. It's a 2.5, 1.5. And some of these are I didn't when I was picking some of my puzzles, I didn't pick very difficult ones. There are some extremely difficult ones, and I think Tom may have pulled one that I helped, or he sent me one day, and we got to working on to solve. But let's pull this one up. This one, it gives you north and west coordinates that are all letters, and your job is to then get your A, B, C, D, E, F, G, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z out of being able to identify some military aircraft. So the first one is a Russian jet. He does give you a breakdown of it. He gives you a little synopsis of what the plane is or what it replaced or something about that. And so you should be able to, with the description, be able to figure out what the plane is, based off of that. Here's a Boeing C, and then it gives you, it's missing the letter designation for that cargo plane, which is a U.S. plane. But it tells you that it was built to replace the C-130, and that, other NATO countries that use it. And then there is a fighter jet is the next one, on and on. I like this one because you can get real tricky with this. You can do a SR-71 Blackbird.
Is it an SR-71 or is it an A-12?
Well, it gives you that it's a SR something one. So
okay, that's a 71.
But I'm glad that you brought that up because the A-12 ox cart, man, you can have two of these side by side, and the differences between the two are minuscule. Unless you know what you're looking at, the difference between an SR-71 and so between a Blackbird and an ox cart, very, very subtle differences between the two. So
I know the ox cart's faster.
It is. And I think I don't know. So, yeah. So SR-71.
Am I nerdy enough that I was not in the military, but I can name every one of these planes except for the Russian one and the drone?
Yeah, so the drone that's in here, they do have a picture of a drone. This is every infantryman in the U.S. Army. This plane right here, this Fairchild Republic A attack plane right here. This is every infantryman's best friend for close air support. That is for us on the ground. It's the only plane that matters in the Air Force's arsenal. Is this one?
That's a gun with a plane built around it.
Yeah, it's a gun with two engines on it. Whatnot. They do have a drone. It's kind of neat looking at that it has a wingspan of 66 feet on this drone. Whatnot. But, one could probably copy and paste the small description that this one has, and it gets sent out, and it pretty much give you the answers that you're looking for. And so it looks like it may be MIA, but the puzzle's still good. So the puzzle's there. If you wanted to work on the puzzle, you could do that. And It wasn't, definitely wasn't a very hard puzzle, though. In 2010, when it came out, maybe, or maybe it was a little more difficult because the Reaper drone probably weren't a whole lot of pictures of that was, was out there. So,
Kendall and Gary I'll give them a B+ for getting the name mostly right.
The nickname, yeah.
Warthog.
Yeah.
I like my name better.
The bird. And I enjoyed that guy's puzzle that I did. We're going to show one more of his. This is Just Plain Crazy Propeller Edition.
Ooh, now that's one could be tougher.
Now this is a fun one. I've actually gone through and solved it, and then I came in and removed all of my notes so that I could show all of this. But this is GC2FCQC. It is a 3-star for difficulty, 1.5 star for terrain. But when you come in here, these are all little civilian planes. And so if you aren't real sure what a Piper Cub looks like, or, some of these are all little like turboprop. They've got a little bombardier. There's your Piper Cub and whatnot. So there are a couple of these that if you didn't know what they were, you might struggle a little. Some of these are water landing planes. Some of these are tail draggers. And so it was just kind of neat to see that they also did this in a civilian type puzzle and whatnot. So you see this one right here, Tom? You may not be able to read it on the plane, but it says Delta Airlines.
Which means that's a DC-3.
Mm-hmm. So it's kind of fun to see some of these. But
the one under it is kicking my butt. I should know that one. But the 2 threw me off. So I think I know what it is, but I'm not positive.
Oh, the Cessna?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's like the most produced, most plane that's out there. But if you're in the San Bernardino County
Rancho, I do know what it is. I thought that was a tail dragger.
Oh yeah. The Rancho Cucamonga area, then these are a couple of good puzzles for you to look at. Now, this next one, I found this and I was like, oh yeah, that one's going on the list. I haven't solved it yet. I don't even know how to solve it yet. I mean, I know the premise behind it. I still don't know how to solve it yet. I'm working on it. But anytime that you mention airplanes, you should envision Samuel L. Jackson saying, I hate these snakes on this plane, right? And so when I saw a puzzle called Snakes on a Plane that was published in 2011, I was like, that one. And since I'm going to be in Phoenix next week for work, this one is definitely on the higher priority list to try to solve. This is GC33YYW for our audio listeners. And there's the link in the chat room for those who want to follow along. And then I will share this screen.
Yeah, because I don't have a clue on this one.
So I I like their use of some of this stuff. Let's see if I can make this a little bigger, because when we get down to the puzzle, we'll want it. So there's your Samuel L. Jackson with a horrible rendition of a Hollywood snake. But here's your puzzle. And so I was sitting there looking at how to solve this and was watching a YouTube video on it and whatnot. This is a, I know that we did a show last year after I came back from Japan that was like Japanese logic puzzles. This falls into that same realm. It's created by the same author who created some of the other Japanese logic puzzles that I had solved while I was there, and whatnot. But this one, one of the comments down the row tells you that they didn't know how to solve a snake, whatever type of puzzle. And so then you're like, oh, well, I know it's this kind of puzzle. And you go to it, but you've got to connect the lines, but you got to connect the dots with some lines, and there are rules to it. And don't start me lying to you about all of the rules for this. I've started to dig into it and started to figure out how to solve it. And there is an online solver for this, except I don't know if it will solve it with the letters, if I just left the letters out and left it blank. And so somehow you have to connect the dots with lines based on what number is inside the square. So like the upper left-hand corner has a 0 in the first square. Well, there are rules for which numbers. So there's 0s, 1s, 2s, and 3s in the puzzle in a matrix of dots that make up individual little boxes. And so I haven't quite figured out all of the rules for this, but I'm working on it. And the fact that you jump into a 10 wide by 10 tall puzzle on this one makes it a little more difficult. But you should, I'm assuming, based off of what I see in the puzzle, that A, B, C, and D, E, F are either a 0, a 1, a 2, or a 3. Because there are no other numbers and whatnot. So in the puzzle. So I'm still doing some solving of what's in here, but it does tell you here, a Slitherlink puzzle. So if you look up a Slitherlink puzzle, it pulls up some of the same author that wrote a bunch of the logic puzzles that I solved on my trip to Japan this last year to see my son. So a Slitherlink puzzle. It also will allow you to create Slitherlink puzzles in this link that I found. So once I figure out the rules to it a little more precisely, then I'll be able to go through and solve this. But I thought it was it's a snakes on a plane, and it had a picture of Samuel L. Jackson in there. But I like this one so far that the Slitherlink puzzle kind of ties back to the snakes on a plane cache title. And so really the winning piece to this, besides it being is it a large container? Yeah. It's a regular container. Is somehow if there's something snake related with the final, then that really is like the icing on the cake, right? And the fact that it is down near Phoenix, in the Phoenix area, Maricopa, the Carefree Highway. So the fact that it's down there in that area, if it was had a rattlesnake a fake rattlesnake outside the container, or you open the container and a rattlesnake head is stuck on a little slinky cable that kind of bobs when you open it. I think that would be kind of neat. But this is one that I'm working on for this next week. But figured that it had a pretty good theme with it, and so I was at least gonna share it. I will try to pull the website that I found for this one and throw that in the show notes, so that it ends up in the show notes for anybody who's curious on potentially using one of these or building one. It's out there. Oh, let's see.
Yeah, I was trying to look and see if there was a way to cheat with the math and try to do the puzzles, and then I noticed there's two of them that have ×2 in it. So now I'm wondering, is it PEMDAS or is it the left to right thing?
Oh, for the answers at the bottom, because you got to take 1, 2, and 3 and like multiply them or add them to get A, B, and C.
Yeah, most of them are just additions, but there's two of them that's got a ×2 in there.
Yeah. Yeah, so then it'd be PEMDAS. You do. Oh, that's a good question. You'd have to probably do it both ways and then figure out if they were a true mathematician, then it would have gone PEMDAS. But I can see how, knowing how that is at the bottom, that they may just work it from left to right, especially if they don't have parentheses for it. So,
yeah.
So, hey, no worries, Desert Tortoise. We won't hold it against you. We know life is busy, mate. So, no worries. All right, for the next one, this is. Let me look at this and make sure I'm talking correctly. So this is, I pulled Plane Crazy #1, and this is GC8850H. This is the first one of a series of 62 caches that this cache owner has put out, the Tri-City Cachers. It is up in the Midland, Michigan neck of the woods. So if you're up there in the little Mitten State, wherever you're at in it, then this may be a good series for you to go and get. This is the first one out of the series. It does have a certitude checker and whatnot. So it is part of a GeoArt that contains 62 geocaches plus a bonus cache. To get the codes for the bonus cache, you have to look inside each one of the selected caches of the GeoArt. There are 6 codes needed, A, B, C, X, Y, Z. Anyhow, that's how you get to the bonus cache. You got to go find all the rest of them. But let's share this. This is that one. Share. There we go. So you must correctly identify the featured aircraft to get the correct set of coordinates. I like this because these are all relatively easy multiple choice questions. It says this aircraft is an American 4-seater single engine high wing fixed wing aircraft, first flown in 1955. More have been built than any other aircraft. Measured by its longevity and popularity, this aircraft is the most successful aircraft in history. And then he gives you 4 different choices: a Beechcraft, a Cessna 172, a Cirrus version SF50, and a Pilatus PC-12. And if you guessed anything other than the Cessna you're wrong. This Cessna is by far the world's most popular small airplane out there, and just about every airport that you go to has one tucked away in it somewhere. Like, and if you go to some small airfields, this may be the only thing that you see is a whole fleet of these in various different colors.
And if it's not this, it's one of its cousins.
Yeah. So these are all, he gives you the 4 multiple choices. You just have to put the correct one into the certitude in order to get the corrected coordinates for it. But I pulled it because it is part of a GeoArt up there in Michigan, and the GeoArt is plane related. All of the puzzles are plane related, and so fairly easy for you to get in there and get 63 smiley faces in a little GeoArt. So
okay,
if you're up there in the Midland, Michigan area, would not be a bad series to go after.
That'd be something to do next summer.
Oh, you headed up that way next summer?
Well, I mean, I want to go up there a little to the west of that and get that Ice Age vista so I can get the cactus thing.
The cactus attribute.
Yeah, and then there's a food truck in Detroit I want to see anyway. So
there ain't nothing in Detroit worth seeing.
There's a food truck worth seeing. Detroit 75 Kitchen. If I'm going to drive that far, I might as well just drive a little bit farther. And
and then the last one that I am going to show tonight is GC7Z E73 for our audio listeners. Boop. And there it is for everybody in the chat room if you want to follow along. This is a 1.5. Not hard, but there are 16 caches in this series. The CO is Team Geology Nut in the Blount County, Tennessee area. And so if you're out that way, he has a series of World War II U.S. planes. And the one that I chose to show is the Northrop P-61. And the fun thing that I like about the Northrop P-61 is it looks a lot like what does that look a lot like, Tom?
Like a P-38 Lightning.
Like a P-38 Lightning, exactly. Now, the fun thing about this one is that this plane, you notice it has an extended front nose on it, Tom?
Yep.
It's one of the very first planes that was designed to fly at night using radar.
So that pretty much helps you answer the first question up there. What?
Oh, look at that. We're going to have to look into that. There's a B-2 bomber GeoArt in Missouri. And they give a GC code for it. So that's cool. But yeah, so P-38, it's a clone of the P-38. It's the Northrop P-61, and comes in all black like that. Designed to fly at night, whatnot, and only cost $190,000 in World War II in 1944. I mean, that's
There, now I got it right.
These all in this series all are a little multiple choice. It gives you a question and then an A or a B for all of them. And then it gives you the corrected coordinates for either the missing north section or the missing west section. all relatively easy to do. But he's got one for the P-38 Lightning. He's got one for the Corsair. He's got one for the P-51 Mustang. He's got one for a couple of relatively unknown World War II planes that actually played a pretty significant role in places like the fighting in North Africa. They may not have fought real hard in the European theater or in on the Pacific side of things, but they did a lot of damage and were very good and active planes in North Africa. So it was kind of neat to go through and at least read some of the history about some of these as you're going down the way. But I thought that was just a really cool and gnarly looking plane, especially with that big giant nose on the front end where all the radar equipment was stashed at in it. So like I said, this CO has a 16 series set of caches for these that go along. And so if you're in that neck of the woods, it is a good series to go after. So, okay. And then we're going to jump into Tom's part of the list for this. And Tom's part of the list for this starts with planes, trains, and automobies.
Yeah, I thought we'd cover everything all at once.
That's right. So this is the catch-all. It's GC1JE7Y. So let me share that and take it away, Tom.
Well, I can tell you when I saw that the hint that's on there now was not there, that you actually had to solve it back then. Because if you go look at the first to find, there's me, and I tell you which ones I used. I solved it using automobiles, verified it using trains. I couldn't do the planes at the time, but yeah, there was some math involved in this thing. So this is pretty cool. And then, this is right by the house. So the T6s are talking about in here, those fly over my house all day during the week.
Mm-hmm.
So little 2-seat trainer prop job. So I know you can get this just looking at the hint, but for giggles, try solving it, doing the trains and the automobiles. See if you can do the math. So this is just basically was just a math problem. And the guy who solved it, if I remember right, he was a pilot. So
I like how he's like, assume this, more assumptions. Let's assume this. We know what happens when too many people start assuming stuff.
Yeah. And let's hope the Edwards aquifer level in Bear never gets down as low as what he's got there. But I would be okay if the gas got back down to where it's at there.
Right? A dollar. Wait.
202.
Yeah.
And that's for 93 octane. That's not even the cheap stuff.
Yeah.
Oh.
There's a lot of information that you have to sort through in this, and some of it is probably useless information that you don't need.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff in there you don't need, but you can solve it doing the math, doing the automobiles and the trains. I'm going to assume you can with the planes too, but I went with what I knew.
Yeah, right. Like, let's stick to the strong point here. So, I like that this owner has given you multiple ways to solve it.
And the location was not far from railroad tracks and Air Force Base and right by the road. So you had planes, trains, and automobiles all around you.
There you go. Okay. Oh, Team Troglodyte cache. I don't know.
Well, there's another pilot,
Right?
and he's in here twice. So this one I learned some stuff. I didn't know what I was doing to start with. So
So this one is GC6EQ1Q. It has been archived, but that's okay because that just means that somebody else can take his idea, copy it, make it their own,
yeah.
and then publish one out in your neck of the woods. That's the great thing about archive caches. So, all right, walk us through this.
So at the time I was doing this, I knew diddly squat about anything with airplane navigation stuff. So you got a picture there at stars. That's there as a hint. And then, when you run out of things to look at on the cache page, you always go to the source code. And that's where the puzzle's really at. It's in the source code. And it gives you a bunch of airplane navigation waypoints in there.
I thought I was sharing this. I'm not. My apologies to the audience. Y'all got to keep me in check too. Put a chat in there that says we can't see anything. My apologies. Let's back this up for a second. Here's what you end up getting. The cache is called "The Stars Will Lead You," and then so here's your picture of the stars that you get.
And I can't remember for the life of me what STARS stands for, but it's an acronym. But go to the source code and hit the user supplied area.
All right, so let me remove that. Stop sharing, and then I'm going to share the source code. Share screen, source code. Boom. All right, so if you do a Control F and put user S, it only shows up 2 times in the source code, once right here and then another time right here. And then everything under the second one is what the cache owner has put into the cache page. Everything that is here in green text is hidden text. So even if you try to highlight it on the cache page, it doesn't show up. So it's not like white text. The green text that starts with a open bracket or the less than sign and an exclamation point is all green in the source code that you can see here. And all of that green stuff is invisible text that doesn't show up on the cache page. It only shows up in the source code.
Yeah, that's the notes for the page.
Yeah.
I'll go down there on my screen so I can remember what. So remember, I had no idea what I was looking at. So, but I see like N and then Benny and looks like an arrow to Medin and then a -3. And it's like, okay, what is this stuff? So Google's your friend. I Googled stars and threw a bunch of these words in, and then stuff came up. And then, okay, now what the heck do I still do with this? And how am I getting numbers? And so these are different waypoints that you would go if you're flying. You would say, I want to go from this waypoint to that waypoint. And well, I'm going to give it away. The thing was distance in between, because I can't think of anything else that might be there, but it was distance in between. But it still took me a while to figure that out.
Okay. Well, and that's okay. Distance in between, because at this point the cache is archived. So telling them how to solve it can help people reverse engineer it to build one. So Benny to Meeden gives you a distance, and then you subtract 3 from that.
what's funny is if you look part way down there, I've got into going by the airport and just listening to the planes coming in, the air traffic controllers, and listen.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of funny. You listen to the planes coming in on departure, but there's one down there called Weed. Heard the pilot. I've always wanted to say this, and he talked about going to Weed.
Yeah, there you go.
So
Weed to
all these are waypoints in my part of the world. So he even kept it, kind of regional. I guess because he knew these.
yeah. Hmm.
I wish I could
Okay.
remember what stars. I should have looked it up, but work's been busy, so I didn't get a chance to do it.
All good.
We're going to do better the next two shows because we already know what our topics are instead of waiting to the last minute.
Oh
Like
no, we know the next
typical.
3 shows, right? Because we're gonna do spooky puzzles, horror, spooky puzzles for next month,
Okay, and then
right?
come back to the trains and
Yeah. We can't let Pizza Ninja's good AI art go to waste.
no,
We've got to use that one. Um,
that one is good. Okay, all right, get on to the next one.
okay, on to the next one. This is just a plain old micro.
Now this one was cool. I would love to know how they came up with this. So share this one on the screen.
I'm working on it.
I didn't get a find on this because it was just missing and it got archived before I could get back up there. But how they found this, I will say I have found one just by accident, but I don't, and I remembered it as I was looking this up for the show, and I thought maybe I could recreate this thing. So scroll down a little more till you get to the picture because that's the important part.
Hang on, I was giving the live audience a chance to
Oh,
uh,
read all the stuff.
to read all of the stuff. Anyhow, you come scrolling down, and
That is true. That distance to talk about that is important. That helps you find what you got to find here.
yeah,
But you've got to go through Google Earth back in the past. You already know it's taken in 95, so you got to do Google Earth and do the time warp in it where you can look at past imagery and then look for this plane. And then once you find that plane, you've got to hover over that left wing at the tip and read the coordinates out that'll be at the bottom of the screen.
mm-hmm.
And then you go look for this thing. So if you could find a plane in a old Google Earth picture, you could recreate the same kind of thing, possibly. Well, I think you could still do it. You could say, okay, where's he at, and do a projection in the direction he's going, and say, a mile down the road or 2 miles down the road,
yeah.
or assuming he's flying 180 knots, where's he going to be in 2 minutes? And
Oh, and this one came out in 2004. That was like
well,
this
even
was
when I
cutting
looked for
edge.
it, this was the boonies when I went there. I bet it's not the boonies now, but
Yeah, probably not. Um, you know, but
it,
yeah. So the cache was in this tree right here underneath the.
yeah, that's where it was supposed to be. It wasn't there when I got there. The trees had been cut down,
Oh,
but even look, scroll down and look what maps it tells you to use. I don't know if those are. Well, I couldn't tell you the first one because that's for a Mac.
a Terra browser for
Yeah.
Mac OS 10. Look at this for Windows 98, ME 2000, and XP. Like, just whoo, you're still using. I remember what a giant flop Windows ME was, but I wonder if that link even still works. Hey, the JDM Cox software Still works, believe it or not.
Oh my God. Yeah, I just clicked on it too.
That's
Oh my
crazy. We have a local airport here in town that the airport used to be right in the middle of town. So it'll be neat to see if I can recreate this with a plane either on takeoff or final approach into the airport somewhere, and then be able to. I may have to go and look for some of that. That's a cool idea for a puzzle of like, yeah, you just have to figure out where this is now. Like, oh, all right, thanks.
Hey, just on a totally has nothing to do with this, but did you fly Hawaiian Air in Hawaii?
Um, no, we flew the Mokulele Airlines over to Molokai, but we did not fly Hawaiian. We flew.
What did they fly?
They flew a little 12-seater Cessna
Okay.
plane.
Okay, so no.
Yeah.
Hawaiian and Delta are flying the last version of this plane that's in this picture. It's a Boeing 717 because they bought McDonnell Douglas, changed the name of the plane to 717, and then because the economics of flying it, everybody dropped it except for Delta and Hawaiian Air, because it's a great short hop plane, but otherwise
Yeah.
useless.
No. Yeah. Back when, just flying probably it probably only holds like 45 or 50 people.
This one held about 100. It's
Yeah.
a 2-row, 3-row thing, or a 2-seat, 3-seat thing.
Okay. Yeah. So I was thinking that it was a 2-seat, 1-seat, but yeah, because the logistics of trying to fly just 50 people across the country or something like that, 75, just doesn't make it worth the cost of jet fuel.
No.
What is this? How do you get this shameless plug in our show that you're going to shamelessly plug one of your geocaches?
What can I say? I learned some stuff on this one too, because we'll go through that. That's a good one to bring up. Because
all right, so this one is GC2E70G. It is called Joyride by
me,
Mr. Electric Water Boy.
I put this out because let's see, where had we been? We had just probably gotten back. Yeah, we had just gotten back for a month or two before this from our first Woodstock trip, where after Woodstock, we decided we needed to do something crazy stupid every year. And this was going to be my crazy stupid. I had never flown in a helicopter, and I wanted to fly in a helicopter real bad. So I decided to put out a puzzle, and for the FTF prize, you would get to go ride in this helicopter with me. And so I put out this puzzle, and let's see, I'm looking at mine and not yours. So let me go to yours. You scroll down a bit, you're going to get coordinate stuff. Oh, and at this point, I was really proud of me building this webpage, because before geocaching, I knew nothing about building webpage stuff. Well, I did real good learning this stuff on my own here. So I gave you coordinates, and if you go look at those, I'm just going to cut to the chase here. Those are all different airport runways.
Oh, okay.
One of them is at an RC club runway. They do RC stuff and ultralights, and you kind of have to use the Wayback Machine just to be able to see the number. You notice there's 2 notes on there.
Yep. That one of the runway numbers may have changed.
And I didn't know why at the time. It didn't make sense to me. And then I since learned with the second one. So I'm keeping this out for a little while because I know a couple people that are wanting to go look for it now. But magnetic north moves, so it kind of messes with your runways because the runway number is a magnetic heading minus the, well, it's to the closest 10 and take the 0 off the end of it. So if you're on runway 6, you're taking off at 60 degrees.
Okay.
Give or take a little bit, you know.
Yeah.
Runway 17, you're going at 170 degrees, or 22, you're going at 220.
Okay.
But when magnetic north moves, runway 220 didn't move, but the heading it's going did. So 220 might become, or 22 might become 23 or 21, or
Yeah.
and it messes with your puzzle.
Dang it, Mother Nature! Quit it! I'm trying to make a puzzle here.
And you can see, I didn't have the numbers I needed, so I thought, all right, we're going to do some math in this thing.
Yeah.
You're getting in a helicopter ride. They got to do some work at it.
We can't make it easy.
No. And I got real lucky on this that Cheryl figured this out. I did not help her one iota, but she figured it out and went and found this thing. Because I would have been in a crap ton of trouble if she hadn't.
All of a sudden, you're going up with Bob to go on this helicopter ride.
I would have.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that was crazy. We watched the helicopter come in. I was nervous. I could go up power plant stacks and go up on stuff where I could look between my feet and see the ground below me, and it didn't bother me by this point. But still going up on a plane or definitely a helicopter, that was a little scary to me. And watching this guy come in a zillion miles an hour down the runway and then do a 180 and drop it on the ground, that didn't help my nerves. And then as watch the people get out, and then they're putting her in, and I'm waiting to get in it, and I'm watching the boom on this thing just do this number, going back and forth, just wobbling. And then we get in, and we start going down the runway, and he says, "This your first time in a helicopter?" And I said, "Yeah." And he said, "Me too." And I thought, "Oh, great. Yeah, wonderful jokes." Well, it got even better because at the end of the runway was a freaking cemetery. That's just cruel.
That's where we're headed.
That's where we're headed. Straight to the cemetery. As soon as at that cemetery, we just popped up real quick. But then once we were up at decent altitude, from then on, it was kind of cool. We buzzed the Hemisphere Tower, and just it was only a short, like 20-minute flight, but then on the way back, we flew over that cemetery and buzzed a funeral. I thought, well, that's kind of rude, but that's what they get for putting a cemetery at the end of the runway. And fortunately, he landed a little less dramatic than what I saw him land, so I felt better. But since that time, that particular helicopter we were on has crashed, and it no longer exists. It's Bud Light cans or something now.
Oh, Lord. All right. Oh, we're almost there. We got 2 puzzles left. This one is another Team Troglodyte geocache. This one is GCBBCJ2, and it's not even a month old yet.
No.
This one, and it's only got 3 finders on it. So there it is for everybody in the chat room if you would like to follow along. And then here it is, the pilot's perspective.
So this was kind of cool to me. So at this point, I know, I haven't flown in one of these little planes, but I watched enough videos that I was starting to look at this and like, hey, I know what this is and that is, and I can tell where he's going and where he's been. And
I can tell you that
He
that
used to be a
I
commercial pilot, but at this point in life, he is doing civil air patrol stuff and teaching kids to fly, and that's what he was doing at this point here.
yeah, I can tell you that I've flown enough with our wildland fire helicopters, and then studying for the Part 107 uh, license for drones, that I can read this map and know a lot about where you're at and where you're headed based off of what he's got on his little iPad there.
I don't know everything on that map, but I know enough to get you to the scene of the crash.
Right? But this one is a jiggity puzzle.
Yeah, I know you don't like him, but it was fun.
Okay.
This one was fun to me because it's like, hey, it's airplane stuff,
Yeah.
and it wasn't 5 billion pieces. I have my limits. When you get over 300, I just say nope. It'll have to be a really cold day for me to do something like that. So I haven't gone and found this one yet, but
you have it solved.
I have it solved. So this is probably about how far is Kerrville? 60, 70 miles from the house.
Yeah.
It's a day trip because if I'm going to go up there, I'm going to get a bunch of them.
No night caching, please.
No night caches.
Okay, and then the last one, I love how this has just kind of worked out, but the last one that we're going to show tonight is GCA5WVM. This one was put out by the TXGA for the 2023 mega event for Texas Challenge, I'm assuming.
Yes.
But this one is called Hot Air Balloon #1.
And I have to say that, I just told you I don't do them when they get over 300. Well, I had to do a few.
Is this one of them?
This was one. Because the harder the difficulty range, the more pieces there were in the puzzle.
Oh, okay. Oh, and let's see. This one was a 3.5. So,
yeah.
Look at Darren's checking in from down under. How are you, Darren? Glad to see you. Let us know how tomorrow turns out. So this is part of the big balloon geo art that was outside of Longview area.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember. You were there for that, weren't you?
I was there for that. That was the year that I announced it was going to be the last year that I hosted the Texas County Challenge Finishers Reunion. And so there was a lot of grief about that, but I was there in Longview for that mega event. It was a good time.
It was. These were, going out and finding it. There's a whole bunch of people out there looking for them, so it made it kind of fun.
Yeah. But you click on the word puzzle, it takes you over to the jiggity, and then the 3.5 has between 190 and 240 puzzle pieces. And so I like how they at least broke it down and told you, hey, this is what you're in for.
Yeah.
Though I still despise jiggities. I'll probably have to hit up, if I went back, I'd probably have to look at one of these bookmark lists over here and say, hey, you got the solved coordinates for this geo art? Can you send them to me? And that's probably how I would solve this giant balloon geo art.
Or you use that jiggity link.
Yeah, you click on the puzzle, it tells you that it's taking you away from, and then here you go into the jiggity, and you get to solve for the hot air balloon. Ain't nobody got time for that.
Yeah, I did back then. Oh well, 4 more months. I'll have plenty of time to do this stuff.
That's right. Okay. And so that is it for the show. That gives you some ideas on some puzzles. I have a couple that I'm going to go back to and uh, look at for some of these. Oh, look at and just rubbing it in, like rubbing it in. Thanks, man. But don't worry, I'll hit you up next time I'm headed out to East Texas. When I head out there to check up on my caches that are still active down there in the Naca Nowhere area. So this gives you some
While you're out
ideas.
there, would you drive through Tatum and check on mine?
Do you got one in Tatum?
I have one in Tatum.
All right.
You know you can't hide a large in Tatum because it would stick outside the city limits.
Now, don't blink, you'll miss it. You know. Now I've been invited down to Tatum for their what do they do the homemade canoe race thing.
That's fun. I'm telling you, that's a blast.
You know, like a roll of duct tape and a cardboard box, make it float. You know,
that's fun.
So, all right. Well, if you are interested in some airplane puzzles or interested in creating some, these are a couple of. We gave you a mouthful to go through. Next month's puzzles is going to be spooky puzzles because it is spooky month. And so October is coming around. That means time to start stocking up, candy for youngins that are coming around
or old fat guys.
That's right. You know, if you show up to my house in a costume, you're getting something. That's just how Charles rolls. But it is spooky month, and the Pizza Ninja did a great job making a evil puzzle art that we're like, both Tom and I were like, yeah, that's cool. So you'll see that little AI art come out here soon, and we're going to do some type of spooky, scary, whatever related puzzles for Halloween. And then we'll jump right back into this series that we got created that we're going with. And we will jump into a trains and then a set of puzzles about automobiles. And then because we have enjoyed this so much, or at least we say we have, so far we have, we are going to do one for boats as well. So I've got a couple of boat puzzles, and so we'll do planes, trains, automobiles, and then boats, submarines, what have you. If it involves water, jet skis, who knows? We'll see what we can find in the world of puzzle caches for watercraft, and do a show on those as well. So,
I got a question.
So that's what we got coming up.
To get out of my head because it's going to drive me nuts.
What?
So I was going to say floaty things, and then I thought, well, hold on, submarines. I mean, submarines float at the top, but if they're down underwater, is it still considered floating?
They still float,
or are they?
They're not dragging the bottom,
or are they hovering at that point? Or flying, okay. Because if they're but then they stop, so they're like a balloon. They gotta.
They're buoyant, yeah. My son's on a submarine. Maybe I'll ask him what they call it, and whatnot. So, all right.
One of those top secret things they can't tell you.
Like I'm like, hey, how deep can you go? And he's like, oh, it's classified, Dad. Like, I have a security clearance. You know,
You know what the answer is? All the
it's
way to the bottom.
classified. Yeah, well, yeah. So,
May
all
not be in
right,
one piece, but we can go all the way to the bottom.
that's right. All
Just
right, so
try
that's
not
it
to
for
do that.
tonight's show. We appreciate everybody who was active in the chat room. Thank you to all of those, and again, thank you to Pizza Ninja for supporting us with your crazy AI art and whatnot. You can find the podcast on all of your favorite podcast places: Apple, Spotify, Stitcher, who knows, wherever podcast, Podbeam, all of those places. So if you'd like to check out the audio feed, that's where you do all of that stuff from. And until next month, when we do spooky puzzles, that's Tom Brotherman. I'm Charles Watkins. We'll see you guys.
See, I got it. Good. You got to point the wrong direction.
Oh,
there you go.
All right.
Hey, for you all people, this is harder than it looks. You got to think backwards because I'm not pointing at him on the way I see him on the screen. I have to point the wrong way.
Yeah. That's
at least up is up and down is down, but left and right backwards.
That's right. So, all right, we'll see you guys next month.
All right, bye.
Wait, hang on. I gotta. Where's the outro?
I don't know. They move things around on you. One of these days, you're going to teach me that stuff.
I know, right?
Of course, I got to learn how to log in, not as a guest, too.
Yeah, you got to hit end stream, and then it does a pop up that says play the outro in the end stream. Like, yes, do that, please.